See the game more clearly with extra view lenses from Norval Opticians, with £50 off our exclusive freeform frames.
You've been involved in the last 4 games, but you didn't play in the group match out in La Rochelle. So how keen are you to sample the atmosphere at the Stade Deflandre on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think probably the lucky thing as a squad is that we've had them for 2 years in a row. And last year I played in that game away and we ended up winning that game. I travelled with the squad this year away, and you know, I've played in France for a year as well. I've played there with teams in the UK away. It's a special country to play rugby in. They love rugby. The crowds are extremely passionate, very hostile stadiums, and it could be one of the best experiences of rugby and some of the worst, where if you're in the back end of losing in a game, and you know, it can be a very dark place, but I've experienced the highs and the lows there, and you know, the whole squad staff are working hard to make sure that, you know, it's a positive experience this weekend.
Johnny Well said after the game against Sale that the scrum went well and the maul went well. Is that enough to give you a platform in a game like this?
Well, that's, you know, we've got exciting backs. We know what's in front of us as a forward pack. You know, they're a big beast. La Rochelle, their set piece is extremely dangerous. We know what we have to do to allow our backs to show what they have, and obviously to keep La Rochelle from dominating the game is through the set piece. So, you know, we're working extremely hard to try and stop that momentum from the set piece.
Where are they vulnerable?
Where are they vulnerable? You know, you don't get 14 points clear in the top 14 with a lot of holes in your game. We know that the French love to play rugby. Sometimes it can be very frantic. I think our defence has to be on point. You know, we can't let them offload the game, you know, offload the ball all the time and open that game up. We need to make our tackles. We need to be organised. We need to enjoy the game, and we need to play for 80 minutes. We can't, you know, we can't let the foot off the pedal really, because they'll expose us. So 1 to 23, we have a massive job to really put in.
Was last Saturday a bit loose in that regard? And you scored 5 tries, but you conceded 4.
Yeah, I think it was one of those games where, you know, it was just play ball type thing, and it was a couple of purple patches for either team, and that's one thing that we struggled with the weekend, was we scored a beautiful try and then suddenly, you know, without doing anything, we conceded straight away a couple of times. So I think, you know, we got to learn from that. We got to improve from it, and I think towards the end of that game, through different factors of impact from the bench, whether that be, as you said, set piece was good. The crowd definitely got the team going, and you know, I really do think when Gloucester are on the front foot enjoying the rugby in the game, that we're a very dangerous team, and we just need to make sure that those lapses of concentration are the bare minimum to none.
You mentioned their form, La Rochelle. How much have you seen of them on clips in recent weeks?
Yeah, we've I think this week especially we've looked at a lot of their clips. You know, like they're a big team. They love to play rugby. They've got some very dangerous players. You know, they've got centres who play back row. They've got tight heads who play second row. They've got people who just, you know, it's kind of strange, but it works. And what they're doing right now is they've got some unbelievable momentum. They've got some very good players from the Southern Hemisphere, you know, in pivotal positions, and they're a team with their tails up. But this is knockout rugby, and anything can happen, and the better team on the day goes through. So we've got 80 minutes to put our stamp on that competition and get to the final. And
just lastly from me, strangely enough, being the underdog may be no bad thing, and you know, historically Gloucester have come up trumps sometimes when they have been significant underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think everyone thinks that before we even land in France, you know, that we're losing this game. We know we're the underdog, as you said. You know, we've played, I think we have a good record with the top 4 teams in Premiership. It's the teams which are kind of below us that we struggle somehow winning against, and I think we're mentally in a good place. We're not letting the outside influence our mental state going into this game, and if people want to think we're the underdogs, we'll embrace it and we'll fight.